Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Object 261. It's the Tier 10 Soviet SPG with an 18cm howitzer. This one's located on the north spawn of Prokhorovka and it's under the command of Photobomber. Game on. Standard reload 30.68 seconds. Photobomber's got it down to 25.14. It's 800 alpha, 45mm a pen, but it is a tier 10 Arty, which means it's coming up against tier 10 armor, and chances are some of those tanks are not going to be penetrated, but a few might be. It's all tier 10 in this one. For instance, there is an enemy tank out there which possibly can get penetrated. 2 Gorilla 15s. Okay, he's ready to go. Looking for a target. Oh, AMX M454. Plenty of armor on that thing, but they still get damaged by HE, of course, because it shakes the metal. That's the whole effect of HE. It causes shockwaves, and the shockwaves literally shakes the metal, breaks the crystals, and the metal falls apart. And it shakes up the humans inside. Okay, M454 again, and a direct hit this time. Yeah, it looks like they're making the standard mistake of actually staying still, which means that they can be damaged. You have to keep moving if you want to avoid being hit, and you have to be unpredictable as well. You have to move in a way that cannot be judged or forecasted. They're holding that position at the moment because they want to shoot up onto any enemy tanks or any of our tanks that happen to be going up the hill. And there are a few actually going up the hill at the moment, and that's why they're in that general direction, general area. Okay, that M454 is looking up the hill right now. Let's give him a bit of persuasion not to do that. Rounds out. Oh, it's going to miss. Yeah. He changed direction at the precise moment that the shell was fired, which actually helped protect him. Meanwhile, we've got an IS-7 who's just trying to look over the center line at the moment by popping up to that wreck. And he's just got hit. Rounds out. That one went over the top of him and actually exploded behind him. Couldn't see him, but we know that the shell did, because if it had actually hit him, it would have gone, would have stopped, and there wouldn't have been any explosion at all. Meanwhile, up on the hill, the enemy's got a Viz-55, who's playing fast and loose in the gaps. In fact, they've got an AMX M454 up there as well. And we're getting a request for fire on that guy. So he's dialing in, he fires at that particular spot, and he gets a direct hit. It was good judged on the aim point. He worked out that was the spot that the enemy tank was moving backwards and forwards over. So he planted the shell on that spot, even though there was a bit of reticle drift to try and deceive us. That's wargaming, I'm afraid. That's the program doing that to us, not us. But he still managed to get the hit. Now he's going for a Gorilla 15. Now these guys have to stay still to actually get their shots in. And he gets a direct hit, and it is a penetrating shot for 745 plus 475 from stun assist afterwards. So that one was very valuable. Gorillas have no armor. It's basically a huge gun mounted on top of a hull from a Panther tank. So they are very vulnerable to fire because the crew are all outside. In fact, that Gorilla's now taking a shellacking. That E50M just took a splash hit from behind. And our guys are pushing forward at a rapid rate. The enemy RT's been spotted, or at least one of them has, and now we've got a Gorilla 15 on the enemy team in the bowl. Now, he's probably going to become spotted very shortly, but we're going for the IS-7 instead, which is much more heavily armoured. And it looks like the enemy Guerrilla 15 was taken out by our Guerrilla 15. And we've just killed the other one down at the other end of the map. Yes, that Guerrilla 15 popped out of the bowl just at the wrong moment. Our Guerrilla 15 was lined up on him, ready for the shot. Okay, this IS-7 decided to shift direction. And he takes a splash for 194. He's trying to get over from this position into the next valley or the next depression in the ground. As you know, on the Prokhorovka map, as you can see, actually, there's 3 kind of furrows in the ground on the main battlefield, both north and south of the center line. And there's a big enough ridge line on each of them which can actually help conceal you. And of course, on the west side of the road, there's another little furrow there where you can actually go down into a dip and protect yourself. Okay, that AMX M454 is very low on health now. A direct hit could actually put him out the game. Rounds out. It lands this side of the wreck. Unfortunately, that protects the AMX M4, and all he takes is a critical hit from that shot. I think it was his tracks that was actually the critical hit. He lost his tracks. But he's fixed that now. We're 2 up on the enemy. They're taking a hammering on hit points. You can see that we're nearly... Oh, it's massively up on hit points. And that was a direct hit there as well. 6,000 up on hit points. They're trying to fight back, but they are losing tanks. Looks like our thrust further down the battlefield actually fizzled out, but rounds out on the 279E. Oh, now he actually did stop that guy. Now 3 up on the enemy. That 279E, I think he's after our 60 TP. Photobomber's decided he wants to go over to the railway line and shoot at these guys. Changes his mind, goes to the 121 instead. Sometimes indecision can actually be the enemy of an Arty player, because you shoot at a target, or you look for a target, you dial in, you think, oh, that's a good target, and then you see another target, and you change your mind and go and aim at that one, and just after you're dialed in on that one, you think, oh, there's another better target, and actually, by doing that, you actually miss out on 2 shots you could have taken instead of the 3 targets that you looked at. You could have actually taken 2 of them out in the in-between time. That was a direct hit there on the AMX M454. He's out the game. Now we're going for the other one, but he's still lots of hit points. But it is a direct hit for 165. But he cures his stun straight away. In fact, actually, he didn't cure his stun. We didn't put any stun on him because we're actually using the improved HE shells, which means you won't get any stun assist. Now, Photobomber does have a large amount of stun already. And he's going for the extra damage. The 121 takes a hit for 337. The Bobject finishes him off. Or was it the Bobject? No, it wasn't. But the AMX M454 there does get finished off by our T92. And that means now there's only 3 enemies left. And that includes the Object 279E. Only 2 enemies left, and it looks like they're in the center of the battlefield, and there they are. Both of them low on health. There goes the 121. Oh! And the final kill of the game actually goes to Photobomber when he takes out the 121B. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the second-class tanker for Photobomber in the Object 261. He got a bruised medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10, and he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate from that one was 3,424, but it wasn't the highest damage in the game. Let's have a look at the scores. Well, we can see the Viz55 on his team managed to get 5,216, and the other Viz55, 4,207, with the third being Photobomber with 3,582. He, of course, picked up that Confederate. When it came to kills, though, it was actually the Gorilla 15 on his team that did the best with 3 kills. The Viz55s both picked up 2 kills apiece, and the Centurion Accent 10 got 2 as well. Nobody on the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill, and Photobomber only got the 1 kill as well. And it was right at the end of the game, the 121B, the last enemy alive. When it came to base XP, he's in 4th place because the Viz55 managed 1,088. The 60 TP got 962, and the other Viz55, 912, with Photobomber coming just behind them with 839. He fired 18 rounds, so he still had 2 rounds spare at the end of the game. 7 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot, and 18 splash. The penetrating shot was the Gorilla 15, I'm absolutely certain of that, because, yes, look at that, 745 hit points with 1 round. They are prime targets. Those are the tanks you can penetrate with the Object 261. He got 18 splashes as well, 3,582 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 1, and did 1,368 hit points of stun assist off 11 stuns. He earned 56,367 credits from the battle, 50,000 for mission completion, 106,367 altogether, and after ammunition resupply took away 68,487 credits profit. He got 5 bonds out of that game because it was tier 10, 1,258 XP for the battle, times 2 for the first victory, 629 from personal reserves, took away 3,146 experience points altogether. He's actually getting familiar with the Object 261 at the moment, and so yes, he hasn't got up to speed yet. I'd suspect that the reason he only got a second class was he actually had too many rounds of the improved HE. You need stun assist to actually get the ace tanker, really. You can't do it off damage alone unless you were really, really good and using armor-piercing shells to penetrate the enemy and do maximum damage each time. To be honest, I don't think that's going to happen. More likely, it's better to actually, or easier to get the ace tankers by using the HE shells with stun and hitting the enemy and getting enemy tanks or getting your own tanks to shoot at those tanks and wipe them out. So it's picking targets that your teammates can see so they can get those shots in. That will get you the ace tanker. But it was a good game, and he did earn a nice amount of XP as well as the win 8. But this is not the only replay in this battle. We've got another Object 261 replay, so let's have a look at that one right away. The second replay is on the Siegfried Line map, South Spawn, and the player this time is Oxagon of ENJ0Y. 3 marks of excellence on the barrel. Oxagon's had his Object 261 for some time, and he's rather good at it, actually. Sends plenty of replays in, showing his skills. Not fully loaded yet. I think he's probably... Yes, he's pinging the map to tell his teammates where to look. Built on the hull of an IS-7. The Object 261 is a bit like the Object 263 in many ways. Now, he could splash that Manticore. I think he's expecting the Manticore to actually make a move. But he decided, no, he's not going to stick around here because none of his teammates appear to have actually gone out to the field to stop that Manticore from being where he is. And Oxagon's decided it's a little too hairy for him to be out there on his own. Yes, he does have a Sheridan nearby and a Leopard and a Gorilla 15, but, well, there's no chance that they would actually stay there. knocks that tree down, which might give the enemy a clue as to where he is. But it doesn't matter because he's in position now. Okay. Units 15, 16, just the other side of the town. But he doesn't like that shot. He's trying to make up his mind which one he's going to go for. It's the E100 he goes for. And his first shot is a direct hit on the E100, who blasts his gun at one of our teammates. Now, as I may have mentioned before, these shells are capable of doing 800 alpha, 45 millimeters of pen, and they've got a blast radius of 9.5 meters, so that's 10 meters diameter. Stun duration between 12 seconds and 29. Second shot hits the same E100. Sometimes tank drivers can get very, very upset and riled if they get hit by more than 3 Arty rounds. They take it personally. They think that you're actually deliberately trying to ruin their game. I've had that happen to me so many times, especially if they finally do meet you face to face, and then with great joy they take you out the game. But actually sometimes it's simply because the same tank keeps making the same blunder again and again, and he's just not playing the game correctly, and consequently he's an easy target to hit. Now this STB1 is making the same mistake really, because Oxagon's going to get hits on him and keep getting hits on him while he stays there. In fact, the shell appeared to go over the top of him and land actually behind him, but I think it was a direct hit on the STB1. There's that UDES again. Pops back into cover because he goes behind the trees. And oh, we now know where one of the enemy Arty is. He's actually located in grid square A6. Because the only way you can actually get shots on the enemy with a trajectory like that would be from that direction. Okay, he's hit a different E100. At least I think it's a different E100. There are 2 on the enemy team. Of course, the other good thing about the Object 261 is it does have a fairly fast reload time. Standard reload, as I mentioned before, 30.68 seconds. He's got 24.1, and the E100 is now out the game. So he picked up 112 from that shot, but it was his teammates who actually did the damage. Now, because he was firing in at a tank that was actually spotted, it was very easy for his teammates then to get those shots onto the enemy. Now that Viz 55 is trying to hold that corner at the moment. Meanwhile, oh, that TVP, he is threatening. He's just blasted away his 4 shells, trying to take out our T62A. The problem is, from this particular angle, we can't get good shots on these guys. You need to be really a little out in the field, where the line is at the moment on the south end of the map, to get good shots. But he managed to get a splash onto the Super Conqueror. Only one enemy Arty in this game. It's a GW E100. They're not very mobile. They're fairly slow, which probably accounts for the fact that he stayed near his spawn point and he's still in A6. An enemy tank has appeared on the east side of the map. It's a TVP. He's just blasted away his ammo. Rounds out. Direct hit. 323. Non-penetrating shot. But he is taken out the game by our teammates, which means that Oxagon managed to pick up the rest of the stun assist. Okay, quick change of position. No, he's not going for an early bath or to drown himself. No, good Arty players don't have to do that. What he's actually doing is repositioning, because there are enemy tanks coming in from the west. Oh! That was a penetrating shot on the engine bay, and it burnt the STB1 to pieces. And yes, so he's got an arsonist as well as a penetrating shot. 783 from that penetrating shot. Low roll, but the fire took the tank out altogether. I've often said the Object 261 looks so much like the Object 263. Of course, the 263 was known as Stalin's sandal or Stalin's shoe, depending on your point of view. Oh, he's been spotted. Now, the enemy Arty might take advantage of this and say, well, I'm going to take a few shots. So he's going to get moving. Change position. It's that Manticore again. Is one of the enemy tanks on the way in. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment. Rounds out the Lion. Yep, he didn't get a penetrating shot, but his teammates did, and he's picked up some stun assist. That same E100 he was firing at earlier in the game, the one he kept firing at, he is on the way in. It looks like he's trying to get some revenge. Unfortunately, we've got a red line at the moment, which means we can't get an accurate shot because there's some obstruction in the way. Trying to get that Manticore. He's aimed for the corner of the building. Changes his mind, looks at the UDES. The Manticore's gone down. Taken out by the Leopard. He's changing position. Haven't heard from the GWE100, but that's probably because he's aiming at our tanks. Still got a red line. He needs to come out of his little dip if he's going to get a shot on the E100, but if he does, he might actually get spotted by the E100's teammates. Gorilla 15 just fired, so he pulled back into the dip. Sometimes it can actually help if you go round to the north side of this little lake and you can shoot from there. There's the E100. Still got a red line. If he fires at the moment, it'll hit the obstruction, whatever it is. He's having a look at the STB-1 that's a bit further back. Gorilla 15's popped up to take a shot at the UDES. Oh, we got spotted again. And there's the enemy Arty. He's finally decided to have a go, and he's stunned us and damaged us for 191. But considering that was a 21 centimeter shell, 191 hit points is actually fairly good. That's fairly low. He's got an 1100 alpha, that guy. At least I think it's 1100 if I remember correctly. Oh, enemy Arty again. Went for the Gorilla this time. Actually, it's a 900 alpha. I was wrong. It's the Team 92 that's got the 1100 alpha. We've now got the advantage. There's only 3 enemies left, and only 2 of them are actually in the field nearby. And then there's one of them. Rounds out. Direct hit on the STB-1 for 359. Non-penetrating shot, but he goes down, and we pick up the stun assist. Or did we? No, we didn't get any stun assist off that one at all. But there's their Jaegeru. Apparently he's AFK. But now he's moving. A direct hit for 326. As I said, the enemy Arty's probably in A6 by now. Or at least still there. The Leopards will probably spot the Arty. There he is. He's actually spotted him now. He moved out of A6. He's headed south. Rounds out in the Jaegeru. Another direct hit. The GWE100 is out the game, which means this is the last enemy, the Jaegeru. The Jagdpanzer E100. A fictional tank, but Wargaming insists it possibly could have existed. Rounds out. And that's the kill shot that wins the game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was a first-class tanker for Oxagon in the Object 261. He got an arsonist because he set light to that STB-1 over the other side of the battlefield, and he burned up. He also got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. And he got a Gauze medal as well because he did more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle in that game. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in this one because the Leopard 1 on his own team did 5,992. The Gorilla did 4,439. A lot of that was done very close to Oxagon at some times. And Oxagon picked up third highest damage with 4,147. When it came to kills, he actually got the second highest, and jointly with the Gorilla 15, the highest scorer was the Leopard 1 with 4 kills, and 2 kills went to the other Leopard 1. Oh, and I should say, the E100 on the enemy team also got 3 kills as well, and their T110E3 got 2 kills. When it came to base XP, it was the Leopard 1 again who got the highest. In fact, that means he's picked up the top in all 3 columns. 1,125 went to him, 1,102 went to the Cranvarn, and 1,008 went to that Gorilla 15, with Oxagon getting 4th place with 933. He fired 14 rounds, so still had 6 rounds left at the end of the game. 13 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetration, that was the STB-1. He hit the engine bay on that guy, and that's what set light to the vehicle, because the shell went into the engine bay, knocked out the fuel tanks and set light to the thing. 14 splashes as well, 4,147 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged, did receive 1 hit from the enemy though in that battle, and 1 non-penetration as well, 1 hit by way of splash. Yes, the enemy Arty did try to take him out eventually, but unfortunately for him, he didn't get a direct hit, so it didn't pay off. He also got damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 3, so missed out on getting a Confederate by just 1 tank. Just 1 tank that he killed. If he hadn't killed that Jaeger at the end of the game, he probably actually would have ended up getting a Confederate medal instead. 555 hit points of damage assistance and 614 hit points of stun assist of 13 stuns. He earned 38,899 credits from the battle, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables only took away a profit of 162 credits, but it was a profit. 933 XP and 1,400 experience points altogether. So a very good game. Mostly used standard ammo, standard stun ammo in that game, and Oxagon picked up a first class and a Gauze. But it's not the only replays we're actually going to do, because we've got another Oxagon replay, because he put up 2 last night. And so let's have a look at the 3rd replay in the Object 261. The 3rd battle is on the Westfield map on the northeast spawn. Well, this time Oxagon has the Westfield map to cope with. It's okay, it's not a great map, but it can be difficult sometimes. It's a very open map. There aren't many obstructions which actually block fire. He's ready to go. Looking for a target. Nothing yet. Okay, enemy heavy in sight. IS-4. Direct hit with the first shot to 304. He got rid of that stun fairly quickly. We do know that there is an E100 directly behind him. But what's caught attention of Oxagon is this Heshbarn. Oh, and he splashed him for 174. I guess he was hoping for a penetrating shot on that guy. If he'd hit the turret, then he might have actually done a full roll. We're losing tanks massively, I'm afraid. Hemorrhaging tanks. Most of them are actually down in the southeast corner that we're losing them at the moment. Okay, we'll go for a lion. Rounds out. Oh, hit this side of the ridge line. He didn't have that. I think it was a bit of a snapshot more than anything. He's marked E100 as his target, but he's looking at the IS-4 at the moment. I think he's hoping that he'll get both of those tanks to go together. But he's following the E100. He's almost loaded. Rounds out. And another well-timed hit hits the side of the E100. 293 from that one. We're still 2 down on the enemy. They seem to have captured the corner at the southeast corner of the map. Loaded. Rounds out in the E100 again. This time it lands in front of the vehicle for only 228. Now the Hirschbahn has actually managed to make it up into the village. And that's quite dangerous for the Hirschbahn because he has got a perfect shot here. And although we can't see the guy at the moment, we more than likely was still there. Actually, could have probably fired that, but the T100, oh yes, he gets a nice snap into him for 355. Looks like he hit one of the supports as he was going through the bridge. This is a bit of a worry actually, because that T100, well, there's no tanks on our team close to that position. There he is. He's actually in the bridge, in the support area. Rounds out. Direct hit for 267. That will probably antagonize him even more, make him want to come through the bridge and come after us. But if he does, now we've got a lion in position. Okay, IS-4 still up there on the heights. They've managed to kill all our heavies up there. Try and get a shot into the IS-4. Rounds out. Splashes him. Actually landed quite right, because if it had actually landed at the front, it probably wouldn't have done a lot of damage, but it actually landed alongside the IS-4 and earned us 280 hit points. There's that Hirschbahn again. I said he wouldn't have moved far, and in fact he didn't move far. He stayed much where he was. We look at the details, we can see he's already got 1 kill. 283 from that shot. The E100 just got hit by our Hirschbahn. And he's very low on hit points now. Rounds out. I think it was more of a speculative shot, that, just to see if we could get the E100 and splash him to death. We're 3 down on the enemy at the moment. This is not good. Leopard on the run. Rounds out. Splashes for 182. Now, as far as we can make out, there's a Foch B in that tree. E100 is going to be a nice little kill. If we can get a direct hit, he probably will go out the game. He does. Right, the Foch B came out of that tree, stroke bush, and he's out the game as well. And it was the STB1 on our team who got the kill. It looks like we've captured the southeast corner of the map at last, and we're now able to shoot over to the other side of the valley. IS-4, weak on health, only 122, possible splash kill. Rounds out, long shot. It was, yes, it was a bit of a risk because he was a long way away from the enemy and he was moving quite quickly because he was going downhill. So you have to add extra lead on the target. The Leopard came too close to the edge of the valley there and he got taken out. So we managed to claw back the deficit and now we're ahead by 2 tanks. Trying to work out where the enemy is. Our Manticore's making a quick brief run to try and find the enemy Arty. And yes, there's one of them there. But instead of actually firing on him, he's going to go for the GWE100. Rounds out. This could be a kill. Oh, so close. It actually landed alongside for 235. And those skirts on the GWE100 protected it. But he did get the damage assist, and there was the 261. So he was aiming slightly to the right of the actual point that he should have gone for if he was going to fire at the 261 when he was aiming at it. But he does get a splash for 285 and gets the damage assist. And now we're 4 up on the enemy. The IS-4, he's really low on hit points, only 122. Now we tried to get him before. Oxagon's lining up the shots. He's loaded. Rounds out. Well, we couldn't see him when he got hit, but I suspect he was splashed, but it wasn't enough to kill him. If he's got less than 122 when we next see him, then we know that he did lose some damage. Okay, the Manticore's looking for him. So if he spots him, we'll get an idea of how much in the way of hit points he has. I'll bring it up on the tables as well so that we can see it. Manticore's being very careful not to get spotted himself. There's the 268. Still 100% health. Not anymore. Oh, no shot for Oxagon from this angle because the house gets in the way. And the enemy just lost the IS-4 to the Manticore. So we didn't get to see how much the last hit was. 268 takes a hit for 369 this time. Manticore's still not loaded. Of course, he's got a 105mm gun, which takes a little while to reload because it's only a 2-man crew. So the commander actually has to do the job of loading as well. And somebody has got really close to us, and I think that's a T100. And he must be really, really close to have spotted us. But there's no enemy Arty, so we can't be shot at from a distance. But it means that one of the enemy tanks was able to see us at distance. And I think it was the T100 LT. And he is in that northern area near our cap area, close to the Arty. Rounds out the 268. Direct hit into his side. The T100 is actually just to the west of us. And he's low on health. And he goes out of the game without getting a kill on us. So even though he spotted us, he decided not to shoot at us because it would have given away his position. So there's only 2 enemies left. The Heshbon and the Object 268. There's the 268. Rounds out. Oh! Well, that one hit the side of the vehicle. It was an armor-piercing round. And sadly, it didn't pen. It hit the wrong angle. And the next round for Oxagon is also an armor-piercing. So he needs to get a flush hit on the target. Mr. Lion, get out of the way. We're trying to shoot, and we can't. And there's the kill shot that closes the game. The Lion monopolized that one. And oh, naughty boy. Oxagon fired at the Lion. Well, in a brief moment of anger, Oxagon fired at one of his own teammates because he actually stole the kill away from Oxagon. Oxagon could have put that armor-piercing round right through the back of that enemy Object 268 and would have got the kill. But sadly, he was denied that because the Lion blocked the shot. And he knew that he was doing it deliberately. He went round the back of that enemy vehicle, sat at the rear to stop Oxagon getting a clear shot. And so, yes, in a fit of pique, I think Oxagon said, well, you can take the round instead. But luckily for him, the shell actually missed and it went over the top and landed a little distance away. But if it actually hit, it meant that Oxagon wouldn't have got the highest damage. If he did get the highest damage, he wouldn't have got the high caliber. He did get a second-class tanker out of that game. as well as getting a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he ended up with 12. And he got another Gauze medal for exceeding the damage, exceeding his hit points by 8 times. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game, so he wasn't denied a high caliber. The highest damage in the game went to the CS63 on his team with 5,091 hit points. The second highest damage was the IS4 that everyone was trying to get. He got 4,521. And the third highest damage in the game, that went to Oxagon with 3,751. When it came to kills, the CS63 had 6 kills in that game. Yes, he got a top gun. He didn't get the high caliber though because he wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool. The second highest score went to the Manticore, who managed 5 kills with that little 105mm gun and a very long load time. And the third highest number of kills went to the T100LT with 3. And we can see that Oxagon only got the 1 kill in the game, I'm afraid, but at least he managed to get a nice amount of damage. When it came to base XP, it was the Manticore did the best because he was spotting as well as actually doing damage. We can see here did 6,000 hit points of spotting in that one, so very effective player. Second highest turned out to be the CS63 1006, and the third highest was Oxagon with 821 experience points. He fired all 20 rounds. The last round was the armor-piercing one that he fired at the Lion out of anger. Well, not at the Lion, actually. It was at his teammate for blocking the shot on the Lion. Well, no, it wasn't actually. It was a Lion, but it was blocking the shot on the Object 268. He got 9 direct hits on the enemy, but none of those shells penetrated, and 18 splash. Damage of 3,751 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 1, did 234 hit points of damage assistance, and caused 13 stuns, but nobody hit the enemy tanks whilst he was stunning them, and that's why he only got a second-class tanker in the game. He earned 32,153 credits from the game, but after ammunition resupply and consumables, and yes, he did use some of the improved HE and the armor-piercing rounds, which are slightly more expensive, but the cost here actually was the consumables, and he actually made a loss of 12,810 credits for the battle. 821 XP, and took away 1,232 experience points altogether. So, yes, sad ending to the battle because it could have been so different. He might have ended up with another kill out of that one. It still wouldn't have affected his score on getting the Confederate, because if you look at his score again, you can see 8-1. He still would have earned the Confederate if he'd actually taken out that 268 at the end. So no worries there. But just a little annoying that his teammate did that deliberately to him, because he knew full well that the Arty was firing in from that angle, so he just sat at the rear of the vehicle to block the shot. If you enjoyed those 3 replays, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.